We are listening to the blood money system, and we're going to give in some commentaries on what we really truly think is happening over here. We don't understand what's going on in the world. Well, here's a chance for many people to get some understanding as to the blood money system that is currently running the world. That's right, folks. We got no time to misunderstand why so many people are lost and chasing the money. And when it's all said and done, they have no money, nor do they why they were so covetous, why they were chasing the funds so bad that they think the love of money is necessary in order to survive when it's not true. You can survive without money. You can survive without the love of money. You just need to understand how to have faith and build up your faith, and everything will be given as long as you seek the kingdom. All shall be added unto you. This is why we're not here to make people misunderstand anything but to elevate them. This is why we have a very good opportunity with a very good, you know, app that we're creating that's going to give people the opportunity to make real resources like the barter system with gold as their lives are getting elevated. That's right, folks. As their lives are getting elevated, H to go, that's history to go, and that's home to go, because no matter what, we are in the building. The prophets are in the building, and we are going to cruise through different podcasts. Let's start off with the deep end. Enough talking. Let me get my food on. Let's start off with the love of blood money system. Yes, the love of the blood money system. Y'all listen in, and we're going to give you guys a take after the fact on how you can elevate yourself and not be part of this blood money system. Okay? This is a podcast. The first homicide, the sacrifice, and conjured power was the blood money system that started since Cain and Abel. Y'all listen in. Let's get started. Most consistent thing you have on the earth, so much so that every currency on earth is stained with blood. Money is the most lethal weapon in the armory of Satan, not even witchcraft. He said to me, Francis, there are three bloodlines that have affected the world drastically for good and for ugly. In Judaism, the rabbis believed that it is impossible for a human being to make money without expending blood. The reason why spirits congregate around blood is because God Himself does. You may go to the witch doctor because you want power, but he may want to pay bills. Money is always at the table. In the book of Joshua, it says, when Cain realized that his brother knew about the theft, he got into a rage. And out of rage, he picked up an iron instrument and he hit him in the middle of the head and he died on the spot. Bloodline of Abel is the bloodline that is behind the bad economics you have in the world today. It is the reason why wherever money is being created, blood is spilled. Eat this one thing to clear. Well, let's skip them commercials and bring you guys back into the podcast. Because at the end of the day, what just happened? I'm just letting you guys know we've had some of the most inspiring people that I've ever met on this podcast. I think this is the only one that I will probably print the transcripts off and try to memorize it. That's right. Just let's forward that a little bit. In the topography of redemption. Because if you go to the book of Zechariah and the book of Isaiah,
the prophets prophesy about you. I think it's the prophet Jeremiah who talks about Jesus being sold. It's prophesied Jesus Christ will be betrayed and he will be sold for 30 pieces of silver. So in other words, in other words, in the script of redemption, how that Jesus would be ultimately betrayed, that would be part of the script of redemption, that Jesus will be betrayed, was already predetermined by by the foreknowledge and counsel of God. But the reality is this: why? The Lord said to me, He said, because you say the Lord in His redemptive genius had to have that in there, because Jesus had to become the substitutionary sacrifice to represent Abel and answer and silence the voice of the blood of Abel, so that a new economy can emerge in the earth realm that is not based on blood guilt. Okay, that's why Jesus died in the but Jesus was killed by the same tactics by which Abel was killed, and we'll get into all of that. So then he said to me, the third bloodline is of course the bloodline of Jesus. This is the bloodline that is the answer to both bloodlines. So the bloodline of Jesus now becomes the answer to the bloodline or to the problem of original sin, and then it becomes the answer to the problem of blood economics. Okay, that is essentially, these are the three bloodlines that affect the world. So then the Lord said to me, okay, let's now go into, so for you to understand it, you have to go to the beginning. Because the first time blood is shed on the earth, it's the blood of Abel. And you know that when we were in Bible college, there is a principle called the law of first mention. And the law first mention always states is that the first concept or a principle, a concept or an item is ever mentioned, a word is ever mentioned in the Bible, that determines how that word shows up. It sets a precedent for how for how that word shows up throughout Scripture and how to understand it. So we are. He said to me, when you go to Abel, you are going to do this. Is the first homicide. It's the first time. It's the first time blood is shed where the person who's dying did not volunteer to die. So, understanding how Abel died, you are going to understand how that principle that was created, is now playing out and how Lucifer is using it. He said to me, once you understand the bloodline of Abel, you are going to understand why money is the most lethal weapon in the armory of Satan, not even witchcraft. Blood money has killed more people than witchcraft will ever do. As a matter of fact, he said to me, most of the reason why witches actually kill people for blood, kill people, it's because they are because of the way the leviathan behind blood money is such that money is involved in every transaction that people are doing because it's always the primary motivation for why people do what they do. Okay, so you may go to the witch doctor because you want power, but he may want to pay bills. So there's a difference. You want something from it. So money is always at the table. So anyway, so I went back to the story of Cain and Abel. And when you read in the book of Genesis, you are left with the idea that the bloodshed was primarily caused by what could have been a religion. What do you say? You are left with the feeling that what led to the homicide or the killing of Abel was primarily because Cain was jealous that God accepted the offering of Abel, but did not accept his offering. But there's something deeper. But there was something in the text. The Lord said, but if you look at the judgment of Abel, I'm suggesting something. Because the judgment of Abel was not in the. If you look at the judgment God gave to Cain for killing his Abel, it had to do with economics.
That's right. Economics in this world that is ruling this world is called fiat. Fiat is directly related to blood money.
Tells him the ground shall not be able to give you of his strength. That's an economic judgment. Right. So, which means the motivation behind the killing of Abel had to be economically induced. The main reason was economics. So the Lord told me read the book of Joshua. Now, um, in the Bible, a couple of times, I started reading the book of Joshua. I one day I just felt led of the Lord to begin to read the book of Joshua. Now, the book of Joshua is a historical book that has been mentioned several times, at least three times in the Bible. The book of Joshua is mentioned in different parts of the Bible. The book of Joshua is being you can call it a historical oral book that the Jewish people write. It's like you are writing about Franklin because we're living in this age. So because you are living in the age, you have the ability, and then when your time is over, you teach the craft of just chronicling the history of what's going on around what God is doing, and so it's more so like a history book. But because the Bible references it piqued my interest. Why does the Bible at least four times reference the book of Joshua? Is it not written in the book of Joshua, which means it's at least a relevant historical document to look at. I was blown away, Taylor, when I went in the book of Joshua to look at the story of Cain and Abel. I was blown away. I mean, that was like, okay, Holy Ghost, now I understand why you said read the book of Joshua to give you more insight about what's really going on. Then you understand why the bloodline of Abel is the bloodline of economics. So, what does the book of Joshua say about? So, in the book of Joshua, here's what it says, Taylor. It's very amazing. So, in the book of Joshua, it says, there came a day when, because you remember the Bible, that at least the Bible does test, does tell us this, that Cain was a farmer. He dealt with vegetables because even on the Day of Atonement, which is when they raise altars to God, he brought of the fruit of the ground, and then his brother brought the fatling of the calf, and God accepted because one had blood, one was bloodless, which is another story. But anyway, in the book of Joshua, he says that because Abel was a rancher and he had a lot of cows and goats and the sheep. One day his cows strayed off his farm and they ended up in the vegetable farm, would you believe it, of Cain. And they ate a lot of the crops and stumbled on the other vegetables they did not eat. Oh, dang. So lo and behold, Cain comes to his farm and he finds the Abel's cattle is grazing and stumbled on the field. He was already, of course, been festering with jealousy from the time he was rejected by God. When God was telling him, hey, why are you angry? Why is your countenance falling? If you just do what's right, or maybe, in other words, copy your brother's brother. I didn't reject you out of personality. I rejected you because
You see, that speaks to the nations that's running the system right now. Out of greed, covetousness, jealousy, they don't want to compete, understanding that they have to stop their greed. So we get it. They're being ruled by satanic powers because all they're doing is following suit. So therefore, they're powerless because this economic system is completely foolishness. And if we expecting the digital currency to be ushered in while these people are still in power, then we got a lot of drama and a lot of traumatic events, prophecies that are going to take shape because this beast cannot even end the pestilence of the fiat currency created. But yet, we are always facing a upheaval due to the blood money sacrifices that we're all putting in just to earn a living.
blood has to be on the altar if you want forgiveness. You can't put vegetables on the altar. You know, but that's and I'm sure that Cain knew the law of atonement. Adam and Eve taught them, but there was a better streak to Cain. You can see it even now. He talks to God. Remind my brother Skip, who talks to God like that? So you really know this guy was an issue. But anyway, in the book of Joshua,
Yeah, because of his unbelief. Just like the people that run this economy, they don't believe in a higher power when they see a sky in up there. They don't believe in a higher power when they came, just like a lot of us came into this earth through your mother's womb. They don't believe in a higher power when they see so much out of their control. But they think the higher power is their guy. How wrong are they? Or they think we got lied to, because if we got lied to about our background, why can't the higher power being on their side, why can't we lie to you guys same way? Well, because we know we're chosen people. We're not cursed because you people think you handled us. No, we are not cursed. We were just being chastised. And no matter how much you think, well, that's a lot of chastisation in time. I mean, you guys have not ruled since. Well, guess what? You've only been living for a certain amount of time, so you have no idea what was the former things. So therefore, you don't understand anything. God is the author of history. Just like you come and leave this earth, He knows when you come and when you go. So stop playing games with your life and understand you gotta believe something beyond your foolish mind state.
is
Let's
he
continue.
comes to Abel. He's mad. He says, Abel, come here. Look at this. I've caught your cattle. Hardcore evidence. You need to so it goes in the law of torts. You need to compensate me for the loss in business because the vegetables they have eaten and the ones they have trampled, I can't take to market. That's in the book of Joshua. Therefore, this is a huge financial loss to my business. So you have to compensate me
Okay.
because you did not take care to make sure that your cattle stays within your range of your farm. This is not fair. Hi, kamusta?
See, this is what I mean. They have the nerve to frame law by mischief and accuse you of something when they spend their lives and their whole economy is based on thievery. They theft from our continent, our countries. They displace people. They do a whole lot of family thievery and killing, illing, or whatever the case is. Y'all know what I'm saying. That's those are Kane's people. That means these people that control the economy, like Trump's people. Trump is of Cain. You get it? So these people gotta understand they're given into the hands of the wicked, and they will understand the minute hell meets them at their coming down, because they think it's so sweet how they're living their life. They made up something that make us feel like we have to listen, but they don't understand. Nothing is made up. Everything is in time dispensation. For the love of money is the root of evil. But we're gonna continue. I digress.
So in the book of Joshua, it says, Abel responds, and he says, you are right.
Actually, we are listening to Dr. Miles, Dr. Francis Miles. Yes, the blood money system. The first homicide was sacrifice and conjured power. The first homicide, sacrifice, and conjured power with Dr. Francis Miles. So we're gonna cruise through it a little bit. It's on the Deep End podcast if you want to check it out. Shout out.
This charge as it
Give you
regards
guys
the
some
damage
streams.
my cattle has caused to your farm.
Subscribe. Make sure.
But since you're going to be talking about compensation for losses suffer incurred in business, due to my cattle, I now feel compelled to talk about something that I've kept quiet because I didn't want to talk about it. But because you are so adamant to be paid for the damage in your farm.
Look at that.
Here's a record I have of the animals you've been stealing for years.
You see?
Oh no. You have no idea. I know, and I've been cut. I know each area you've taken, and I even know the clothes you have made from them. So since you are insisting on on compensation, for damages suffered, why don't we just do this? I'll calculate how much vegetable money, how much I owe you for vegetables, but I'm gonna also give you a bill for what you owe me.
Well, to bring it to the context of today, the reason why Donald Trump's people are ruling the earth is because they have spent their whole lives and generations stealing from Africa completely, thievery. And then they realize, well, it's in their power, but they don't understand that if you want to understand the truth about life, is you have to understand God. But they're given into the hands of the wicked, so they keep doing what they keep doing because that's who they chose and that's their lot. So, that being said, we're going to continue listening because at the end of the day, there's a lot of spiritual warfare going on the earth right now. And we need people to understand for the love of blood, money is the root of all evil. And that's what these people play with.
As you've been stealing. Now, anybody knows between vegetables and a bull from Texas. Ken's gonna owe him money. Yes, he's gonna end up owing Ken. So when Ken realized that his brother was not stupid, he actually knew never stopped. In other words, his brother didn't get away with it. He knew this boy is stealing from me. So in other words, like I was letting you get away with it, but the way you're talking to me about compensation, let's make it fair then. So in the book of Joshua, it says, when Ken realized that his brother knew about the theft, he got into a rage. And out of rage, he picked up an iron instrument and he hit him in the middle of the head and literally split his head. And blood began to gush out. And he died on the spot. When Ken realized what he had done, he was very remorseful and he began to wear, what have I done? But at the same time, though, but at the same time, the reason he did it is because of the economic argument that and the debt he had just finally suddenly realized he was going to incur if this deal was going to go through, because apparently he must have taken a lot of cattle. So the Holy Spirit said, "Do you say that the death of Abel was economically induced? It was a killing over economics. Who benefits economically from the death of Abel? Can benefits from it." He said to me, "The killing of Abel became the beginning of bloodline economics." That's when Satan now was given the legal right to be able to use blood money as payment for people's advancement in economics.
Okay.
And this is why blood is the most consistent thing you have on the earth. So much so that every currency on earth is stained with blood. Hold on.
It's true.
This puts so much in Genesis 4 into perspective. Yes. I'm losing my mind. Yeah.
Give me 1 minute and you'll get rid of this stuff forever.
Look at that. It's all for the love of money. You see how much evil keep existing, no matter how they want to misunderstand. You know, it's something we cannot understand. So we're gonna fast forward it a little bit, get these commercials out the way. See, that's all love of money, commercials. Why aren't we getting paid from commercials? For example, when we do commercials, why aren't we getting paid like these major corporation companies? Because they have all the money running our lives. They're foolish advertisements.
Sin is crouching at the door, eager to control you, but you must subdue it and be its master. So Cain was already involved in sin when God was asking him this question. Yes. Does the book of Jasher say when Cain started stealing? Was it at the time that his offering was rejected? From the from the sense of the way it's written in the book of Joshua, it's like it was the theft had been happening for years,
like ongoing.
yes. So he was probably stealing by the time, they were doing that offering anyway. But Cain, his brother was so gracious, he just let his older brother get away with it.
Right.
But he was so angered by the anger Cain displayed in asking for a compensation over vegetables that he brought it up, and then he overreacted and killed him.
Wow. Okay.
Hmm.
I was just reading Genesis 4. Cain is a crazy person. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Let's-
no, this is
That's
He-
good.
like,
yes.
he's like, how could you do this? This is
Such as a story of the people that are in power right now. They always play the victim, but yet they're doing a whole lot of unaliving and constant thievery. We're sick of it. We can't wait for salvation. We can't wait for revenge
such a.
against our enemies.
It was almost like the fourth victim archetype
Yes.
history as well. He's like, you killed your brother, and then you're like, how could you punish me this way? It's too great for me to bear.
Families need to come back together. We need,
Unpack
we
it.
need this blood money economics gone, completely gone, or belligerated.
Okay, keep going. So blood money. Cain.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I just had to pause for a second.
No, it's okay. So the Lord begins to show me. So then I began to do it. So this, when this happened, my spirit, my spirit is exploding, man, because it's explaining a lot of, literally this ancient mystery of blood money explains witchcraft. Now it explains the mafia, it explains the drug cartels, it explains geopolitical wars,
That
it
everything.
explains the assassination of presidents when they try to deal to change certain when they are like people like John F. Kennedy who tried to mess with the Federal Reserve and Ben is gone. It explains so much of the bloodshed that you see in the world today. That I said, Lord, now I understand it. And the Lord said to me, Francis, you must understand something. I know that there's a tendency to mag. I said witchcraft is a real power, and I understand it and why it captured the imagination of people. But he said to me, blood money has killed more people than witchcraft would ever do in several lifetimes.
Hmm.
So if you don't deal, if I did not deal with the blood of Abel, I did not bring substitution, a sacrifice, become the payment. Because remember, when God comes, first and foremost, the blood money or the blood of Abel, which is inevitably induces the idea of blood money because it is so essentially when he kills Cain, when he kills Abel, he doesn't have to pay the debt. But whatever that debt he did not have to pay now because the collector is gone by being slaughtered, that debt already becomes blood money, even though Cain is not able to collect. In theory, because that money was still owed to Cain, but now his blood has been shed to avoid paying that money. So the whole economy of blood money comes from here. And the Lord began to speak to me. He says, if you say that blood money, the blood money issue you are dealing with in the world today is that story of Abel has a lot in it. It will explain a lot of things, and I want to go through several things, and then I'm going to go into the connection between blood and money within the Hebrew, within the Hebraic understanding. But let's just unpack Genesis chapter 4, because this God is unpacking this in the Congo.
Mm-hmm.
This book came from nowhere. I was not praying for it. It just dropped. I think it's going to be one of the best books I've ever written. It was heavy because I was going through deliverance economically.
Hey, would you like
There's
your
no such thing as economic deliverance in the land of hell economics, meaning blood money economics. Well, maybe yes, there is, if you choose not to accept these money in terms of major deals that are not understanding where the money's coming from. If you're earning money in a easy way that is not, understanding where the money come from, you're in alignment with blood money. But if you're earning money in a nicer way where you're actually working and earning and doing something good with that money that you're or doing something good for that money, then at least, you're not to be blamed. But you must seek the kingdom with everything you do, with any so-called money that you get. Anyways, we're gonna give it 5 more minutes and we're gonna skip it to go into scriptures and hear some of the Lord's word so that many of you can get the understanding better, because he's explaining it from what he understands and he has a bit of scriptures in him, but we need to hear more of the Lord's word. Okay, so we're gonna give it 5 more minutes.
I was like, Lord, the deeper it went, I'm like, Lord, this is a Leviathan. He said, it's a Leviathan. When you understand it, you understand everything I said about economics. Why my way makes sense. Because if you don't, this is the only economic system you have left. In default, if you deny the economy of glory or the economy of the kingdom by not getting into my way, there's only by default, this is the only economic model that you guys have in the world. It's the one that is run by the Leviathan. That's the Leviathan that runs the machinery of this blood money system. But but to understand it, unpack chapter 4 of Genesis 4. So you see three things. He said blood money has three tributaries. Okay. Mm-hmm. Three it sits on a triangle of a triangle has 3 points. I've got three critical points of the triangle. He says it sits on a triangle. He says, and they are all found in Genesis 4 with Adam, with Cain. He says blood money is spilled because of spiritual reasons, economic reasons, and political reasons. He says wherever there's blood money, one of those is involved. That's the triangle of the blood money. The reasons for why men shed blood are those three, and in Cain, all of three converged. So let me take you through them. It began with spiritual reasons. Because you see, when they went to offer the sacrifice to God, the Bible says God accepted the offering of Abel over the offering of Cain. Now, from a spiritual perspective, you can really see that from that moment, from that moment, uh, from that moment, Cain because you must understand, as a firstborn son, he was supposed to be the priest, heir apparent to the legacy of Adam. But when the glory of God came on the brother instead of him, it created a spiritual jealousy in him that his countenance immediately changed. It is then that his bitterness towards his brother began to fester even more, even though he was probably stealing from him. But there was something there. So from a spiritual perspective, Cain is already seeing Abel as a threat spiritually to his legacy, to the legacy of Adam, because as a firstborn son, he is supposed to be the birthright. In the priestly birthright should go to the firstborn son by Semitic tradition. Mm-hmm. But in God changing, but when God showed up and rejected, and then there's no record that he ever fixed it. So God told me, it's a lot of the reasons you're going to find blood money flowing anywhere else is spiritual reasons. Somebody wants to contact the spirit, or they want to be spiritual. It says most of the witchcraft falls in the spiritual. Blood money will flow, where people are trying to get spiritual benefits without doing it my way. Because I already told Cain, if you will do right, there is a way. If you do right by me, I can visit your altar. But if you don't do right, sin is crouching at your door. Mm-hmm. In other words, if you want power, all you have to do it my way. But if you don't get it from me, you are moving towards witchcraft because you're going to get power somewhere. Mm-hmm. So there's spiritual reasons why blood money falls, but then there are also economic reasons, which are already inculcated in the story we have already described. The other one is political, because being a firstborn, the birthright of the firstborn son was political because it meant we are going to be the heir apparent of the leadership, the economy, everything they said, the father of the state. Now, by God favoring Abel, the balance of power changed there. So God said to me, this is why it was easier to eliminate from a political perspective, it was easier to eliminate Abel from as a rival than to transform himself like God told him. It's the same thing you see in politics. It's easier to eliminate a candidate who threatens your governorship than you becoming a better candidate. You see what I'm saying? This is why you see politicians, there's a lot of matters for hire and they act like they don't know, but it's because they knew they realized, okay, they've seen the internal polls, the guy is too popular. There's no way he can get ahead of him. So instead of improving themselves to compete with the guy who's ahead of them, they find a way to be. So there are three reasons. These three reasons will always be there when blood money is being spilled. Then he said to me, now, blood money also answers the issue of conjuring. He said, you've always talked about the issue of conjuring. He said, Francis, what makes witchcraft witchcraft? So what the essence of witchcraft is the ability, witchcraft wouldn't have any power or novelty to it if it could not conjure spirits. Because what makes a witch, even a hex or a spell work is the participation of a spirit being.
Okay, that's it for that. We have to go into the word because we just wanted to give you guys a little bit of how much people are understanding as the word is being delivered.
Sisters, how many of y'all
We're live right now.
husbands are locked up in jail? Raise your hand.
Agree together, IUIC.
I'm showing you. I'm just cutting down the excuses
Class,
because what Protestants do.
bond,
I'm not saying everybody. They're
bound,
it's good enough to have sex with,
bondage.
have a baby with, but they don't want to marry him. Now she got a baby from him who she don't like, and wants you to take care of this baby. And this baby here knows that this ain't the daddy. That's where problems come up in marriage. There have been several cases like that where the daughter and or son says, well, that's not my daddy. My daddy's this one over here. But the mama don't like him no more. Now mama wants us to figure out a way to make that daughter respect this daddy. This is some crazy stuff, okay? We're not miracle workers. Sometimes sisters make mistakes and they have to live with those mistakes. I'm sorry, but go ahead, Deke. I'm the mean guy. It's true.
Also, sisters, listen. Some of you got this thing, some of you got that bossy spirit. As I'm with this, some of you got this bossy spirit. You try to find an excuse to boss your husband around, tell him what to do. That's what I see here. Listen, like Deacon said, stop trying to tell us how to be a father, how to be a man. You don't know how to be.
Honestly, yo, what you want us to do?
Some of you try to tell us how to be a man. Don't tell me how to spend time with my kids. Who the hell are you?
Honestly.
Let me spend time with my kids my way. That's what I'm saying here. You try to, in other words, you using this try to tell your husband what to do. That's what you're doing. Take the girls out, do this, do that. Hey, listen. Some of these men work 14, 15 hours a day. Let him figure out how to spend time with his kids. Stop telling him what to do. That's what you guys doing. You got that bossy spirit. You want to boss them around. Oh, you do this, you do that. Well, how come you always with the brothers? You never spend time with your kids. Stop. That's what you're doing. You're using this as an excuse to boss them around.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, men don't like that. Let another man, let me go to another man and ask him, hey, how do you think I should do this? Like Deacon say, he got 7 girls. D, how do you spend time with your 7 girls? But you're gonna come to me.
Ooh.
You're gonna come to me, tell me what to do. Stop telling me what to do. Stop telling me how to spend time with my kids. How to be a father. Listen, stick on your wall. You're a mother, do your job. Me, I'm a father. Let me figure out how to be a father by another man. How about that? Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. All right, give me the next one. Yep, watch this.
Shalom, Most High in Christ bless. My wife of 30 plus years only supports me when I bring it up. She never takes the initiative to do anything. No meal prep, doesn't even cook for herself, rather eat out so-called healthy fast foods. And amongst other things, constantly have to remind her I work 12 hours a day. It's hard at times to cook and pack my own lunch at times. It's been over 10 years now, and the truth, I'm drained. But she's still my rib. Please help.
Man
Please.
is going through it.
I'm sorry. 10 years? 10 years?
10 years.
She ain't made you a sandwich in 10 years, bruh? You ain't moved no furniture around or nothing?
You ain't getting nothing.
You gotta fix it, bro. You gotta command your house. There's no way you work 12 and 12-hour shift and you can't get a plate of food made for you, bro. Who are you ruling? My wife, 30 plus years, supports me when I bring it up. She never takes initiative to do anything. No meal prep, doesn't even cook for herself. Rather eat out what is healthy fast food? JJ's Chicken. The only healthy fast food spot I know of. Bobo's Chicken. Now, if she was getting them Bobo's, Bishop, I wouldn't have nothing to say. You need to command your house, bro. Give me the next one. One more.
Why aren't there any structured events or classes for married couples to get together to learn how to apply scripture to the marriage? We need guidance.
Bishop.
There is. What you talking about?
Watch this.
Sir.
Pull up the browser. Go to YouTube. What you doing live?
Right. Show them.
This is crazy.
They don't know how to search.
Go to the browser. Go to YouTube. Why aren't there any structured events or classes? What number of marriages honorable event is this? Third. Where you ain't seen the cabin trip series? What's wrong with these people? All right, go up to the top.
They just love to be keyboard warriors. Quickly, I need to get a hold of you.
Oh, these are folders. 124 videos. Scroll up.
Wow. Amazing.
Scrolling. 43 videos. Keep going.
Everybody is about to hear. This whole game is video game, man. About to get it on, man. Beat the whole game with the words.
Yo, all praise be to the Most High God
Amen.
for vision.
Vision. Amen.
Some people only see what they want to see. Some people, if they want to see negative or be negative, that's all they're gonna see. That's enough. You still
it's the prophets. They're doing amazing things.
Close this out. I'm sorry.
I have to say it. This is so I can't stop it. I digress.
Give me Matthews 19. Matthews 19:4.
The book of Matthew chapter 19 and verse 4. And he answered and said unto them, have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female? And said, for this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife.
Read.
And they twain shall be one flesh.
They twain shall be one flesh. Now, though, this is a short passage here, but there's a lot packed into being one flesh. We have constantly pushed the importance of applying the scriptures, applying what we learn to our everyday lives, to our marriages. If we don't apply what we learn, we will not grow. Our marriages will not improve. You won't see any change within our homes. Now, we see the questions here now. Just think about what's going on in other places, y'all.
I thank the Most High for this truth. I thank the Most High for the individuals here because guess what? Even with these problems we have here, we are eons ahead of so many congregations, churches, whatever you call it. That's right. But even ourselves, we're trying to perfect it. We're trying to get it right. Give me Psalms 127:1, and then we'll close with Colossians 3:12.
Growing.
Psalms 127:1.
The book of Psalms.
I'm tripping, but you're right. It's 6:44 over here. We think it is still early. Psalms 127:1. Read that.
Book of Psalm, chapter 127, verse 1. Except the Lord build the house.
Except the Lord build the house.
They labor in vain that build it.
We labor in vain if we ain't building in the Lord. If the Lord ain't did it, if we ain't doing it according to how he said, it's going to crash. It's going to fall. Come on.
Except the Lord keep the city.
Mm-hmm.
The watchman waketh, but in vain.
If the Lord is not protecting it, if the Lord ain't behind it, brothers and sisters, we are laboring for no reason. All the tears, all the pain, all the grief that you're going through, if you're not going to apply, it's going to keep happening. Colossians 3:12.
1 Corinthians 9, I believe.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3, and verse 12. Put on, therefore, as the elect of God, holy and beloved.
Come on.
Bowels of mercies.
Read.
Kindness. Humbleness of mind. Meekness. Long suffering.
We got to put all these things on. If we're going to fix this, y'all, we got to make sure that we are stepping fully into what the Lord prescribed, because this alleviates a lot of stuff. This gets rid of a lot of nonsense that we deal with. Come on.
Verse 13.
Read.
Forbearing one another.
Come on.
Forgiving one
got
another.
to be able to forgive. Too many marriages suffer because the one spouse don't want to forgive the other, or you're holding on to things in the past or whatever she said or did. You have to forgive one another and move past it. Allow the other person to grow and to become what it is that you want them to be. If you keep hanging stuff over their head, you're never going to come out of it. Come on.
If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, so also do ye.
Read.
And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. And let the peace of God rule in your hearts.
Let what?
And let the peace of God rule in your hearts.
Come on.
To the which also ye are called, in one body. And be ye thankful.
Be ye thankful. Just like in the household, you are one flesh. Listen, we must do what the Most High God told us to do. Apply all that we've learned here so that our marriages can flourish, all right? All praise be to the Most High God and His Son. That's it for tonight's size.
Yeah. That was a good class. I mean, I caught it out towards the end. We're going to circle back some other time, but there's more classes. Let's go through the scroll. Let's see. We're trying to have a triple dose of worldly something, and then have IUIC give the scriptures, and then we're gonna go into GOCC. Let's see what's happening there. You know, we're keeping the watchman. So what's GOCC saying? Which one is this? Making it through, okay. Post-pandemic. Okay, let's see. Okay. Well, the earth is changing. Is this hell on earth? Yes. Most people don't realize it.
It's talking about the seismic activity that right now is going on outside of what? The borders of California.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there was some serious seismic activity before. In the beginning, during the time of Noah, folks, the earth was one
landmass called Eden. One landmass called Eden. Folks, if you can take all of the earth that fell into the seas and bring it up to surface, you can take all the continents and connect it like a puzzle. The earth before the flood was one what? One earth. One Eden.
One continent.
It was great earthquakes that broke that one area, that one Eden, into continents and drifted west, the land of angels, California. It's not called Los Angeles for nothing.
Right.
Okay. These were lands that were connected to what? The fallen ones pre-flood. And earthquakes separated the earth, separated Eden. Okay? The earth was one mass. The Gentile historians called it Pangaea. The land was like a Pangaea. The Pangaean, they call it theory that the earth was one place, one landmass. So we're going to talk about it because what? The earth broke up. But what's in the earth that comes through the seas, you need to find out what was bound, what led to these earthquakes. What's down there that's getting released? Now, before I go into that, hence the reason why, let me pull it up. Let me read this also from the Economic Times. Now, why is this so important? Why is this so important from a political standpoint, an economical standpoint? Because all of this, disasters and all of that, affects the markets.
Well, see, we heard about economics and blood money, sacrifices. Not. This is what the world is.
What's going to happen to them financially in case of a disaster? Then it's politically.
It's money driven.
It comes down to what? It comes down to all the way down to how the government is going to manage the people in the event of a disaster. California braces for the big one.
The day the world changed the monetary system to the barter system is the day we understand how to live back to nature. Otherwise, we're not understanding Christ's mission.
Seismologists warn of a massive earthquake that could strike any time. Folks, it's going down. Economic Times is talking about this. California may face a massive earthquake soon, according to a report.
Changes got to come through.
Andreas, they're talking about it. California and the San Francisco Bay Area, depending on the rupture location. And they're talking about a 10 on the Richter scale. Rising concerns. Now, of course, we're going to have the conversation with the body we have in California to talk about this, right? We're going to have that conversation next week, all in all. But, folks, this is going to affect everything, not just California. Not just California. Now, we talked about this years ago. How long have we been talking about it? Well, what's going to happen? What did we say years ago? So we don't have to rehash everything, because I want to talk about today the spiritual side of this. What's getting released more so than the earthquakes itself? Okay. We've been talking about it for years. What's going to happen? We told people, don't worry about Russia. Russia ain't the issue. Okay? Russia, they're Edomites. Outright. So they are still in line with the Vatican. We told people years ago, keep your eye on Iran. Why? In a nutshell, so I'm going to deal with the whole thing. Because Iran is the one in prophecy, the ambassador that's going to come against Babylon, the new daughter of Babylon, America. And that eventually that will lead to missiles getting launched. We tell you in Second Esdras that those missiles come to Babylon. Now, this is where it gets interesting. There's already activity happening down there. But what they're not telling you is that all of the power plants throughout the United States are on a fault line. Folks, that's intentional. You don't strategically throughout the whole earth take power plants and put it in a place where there's seismic activity that can crack it open. That's well planned. That's strategically thought out. So that if there's one hit, just like if you was to crack a glass, what happens? You crack a glass and it keep on cracking and cracking until pop, it breaks. It breaks. Common sense will tell you that if you put nuclear plants throughout the earth in strategic places on fault lines, well, one earthquake or one bomb hit at the right spot will destroy the entire economy of the United States. The entire, matter of fact, let me show y'all this. Let me see, hold on. Let me see if I can get this to y'all real quick. There was a map that I showed on Patreon. Let me see if I have it here. 1 second. Let me see if I have it here. There's a map that I had on Patreon to show you the old Navy map that the Navy had out there in the event of an earthquake. Hold up.
Well, let's move it along a little bit. Okay, let's continue.
Terry threat. See? Same thing. Under the rest of a military threat, that's when they're going to be able to say, listen, we're not asking you. We're telling you to give up your guns. Why? Because now America has been broken. And guess what? The cities aren't being ran like they used to through your politicians and all that. Everything is going to be controlled through the White House. Right? The 10 horns are the first, are the first 10 horns. You got Switzerland, Belgium. You have France, Spain, Great Britain, Netherlands. All the usual suspects. Germany, Russia, current day Russia. They're all a part of it. Spain, just, Spain. All of them. Those who colonize all over the earth. 3 of the 10 horns went out colonizing everything as an extension of the Vatican. Let's read it over.
14.
14.
They shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings.
So Christ is going to stomp the Vatican out, in a nutshell. Christ is going to destroy the 10 horns. Read.
With them are called and chosen and faithful.
And faithful. Right? And he saith unto me what?
The waters which thou sawest where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues.
A nation that's built out of all races of people. Read.
The horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore.
They shall hate America. Why do they resent America? Because the slaves have risen into prominence and is dictating the culture for the earth. You would think Esau would get all the credit for the glory of the world. Huh? Slaves. You be
Right.
in boats, influence the whole earth because we're God's people.
Right. Makes sense. Obviously, we're the most influential.
You can have a little kid from Indiana broke as a joke from the children of slaves and become the greatest icon throughout the earth like a Michael Jackson.
Easily, you know.
And they looking at this like, oh, didn't these people just go into slavery? How can they have so much political influence? This is why they resent America.
Right.
See? The Tin Horns is like, hey, your slaves are out of control. How can now they can dictate? You can have somebody that come from Chicago that had nothing to do with fashion, like Kanye West, and then have an influence on whether or not something sells in Europe. Huh? Why they resent America? If Esau could get the credit for culture and everything, they would let it stay intact because it's their glory.
Can't explain the rise in box 4.
To resent America because of God's people's influence.
Forever. Like a valley.
So this is why they resent it. Because what they can't stop is what they cannot destroy is what we're made of. We're made of the Most High's essence. We're the children of Israel.
That's right.
Same God who's going to send the Christ to destroy the Vatican, Christ's blood runs through our veins, and they know it.
Yep. Christ is in this building. Psalm 91.
And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, read.
And shall make her desolate.
Make her desolate.
Naked.
Naked. How do you make her naked? By destroying America's economy. By destroying her economy and ridicule America through the media now. America is a joke on all of European television. Read.
And shall eat her flesh.
Eat her flesh. We're going to take all of her economy, all of her treasury, and send her money to the Ukraine, to Israel. That's eating the flesh. That's tearing her apart and taking everything and giving it to the others. No economic floor to stand on. Take all the jobs and give it to the outsiders. Make it where all customer service is done. Make it where AI will take the jobs you used to have. And then here's the last piece.
And burn her with fire.
That's what we're seeing right now. Through the policy of instigating Israel against Iran, by proxy, the 10 horns is using Israel to destroy America with fire by utilizing politically the Iran-Israel conflict.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They know something's coming. It's prophecy.
How long we been talking about this?
The Europeans were mad at the American corporation that they set up. It's all part of the thievery.
Let's go in.
They had something to do, so they went out killing together, stealing together. No, they don't.
Let's go to Sirach.
Time's almost up.
Going to Sirach, which is Ecclesiasticus in your Apocrypha or Bible, brothers and sisters. We go into Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 26 in your Old Testament. Let's see here, wisdom of Sirach here, right here. 28, 26, and 28. Let's read that, Elder Lawyer.
Sirach 26 and 28. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth, a man of understanding that are not set by, and one that turneth from righteousness to sin. The Lord prepareth such an one for the sword.
The Lord prepareth such a one for the sword. There be two things that grieve my heart, and the third maketh me angry. A man of war that suffereth poverty. Now, why would that make the Most High angry? If you have the wisdom of war, why can't you use those same strategies when it comes to how you think to better your own life for your family? You can always talk about how things should be and how this should be this and this. You got the mind of a genius, but your life isn't showing that it's being applied to you. Read.
Men of understanding that are not set by.
Men of understanding that are not set by. There's nothing in their life that's showing that they have the understanding. They can talk about it, but they can't apply it to their own lives. And read.
And one that returneth from righteousness to sin.
One that was baptized, come into the knowledge of the Almighty, and return to the same sin that they asked the Most High to cleanse them from. Read.
The Lord prepareth such a one for the sword.
He prepareth such a one for the sword. Some people might ask, well, what does this have to do with earthquakes? Well, that sword is a place of condemnation. It's not just the death or the pain of death they suffer for the actions on earth. Because that pain of death is only an instant. They only feel it for an instant. The sword it's speaking of is the judgment that was made to judge souls. Hell. And guess what? You have many people out there who stick their head in the sand like ostriches and say, well, okay, well, according to my pastor, according to my teacher, hell doesn't exist. Guess what? You don't have to believe hell exists. But you will know once you leave here. See, the Most High is not in this position of power to try to convince mere man of his power. You can stick your head in the sand and say, well, because we don't believe, hell doesn't exist. I don't care what the Jehovah's Witnesses have told you, you're going to lay down and go to sleep. You know, I have people who think that, okay, I can do all the hell on earth and fulfill all my lustful desires, and the worst can happen to me is that I'm asleep. You know how many people are going to take that deal? And you know how many people who like sleep? So let's get it right. This is Jehovah's Witness. You can be an unrepentant sinner. You can do all types of evil on the earth. You can cause ruckus, division, heresy, hatred.
And the worst that can happen to you is that when you die, you get to rest. You know how many people that's gonna take that God up for that deal? Mm-hmm. Now remember, even Hebrews talking about, hey, hell is a condition. Hell is what happens on earth. All these weird doctrinal teachings that Lucifer is the white man. Heaven and hell is a condition on the earth. What? So when the judgment comes, what's the judgment? Well, you die from the nuclear missiles. All right. So, okay, if I'm an Israelite, you die from the nuclear missiles. There is no hell now. No, that's not what they're saying. Rest and come back in the third and fourth generation being born under Hebrews in the kingdom. I don't know what Israelites are preaching. So let me make this right. So if I'm an Israelite by blood, and I do all type of evil and wickedness, unrepentant, against the Most High, against Christ, against everything that's right according to Moses' law, if I die, the worst can happen to me because my genetics is that I'm reborn under an Israelite and get the kingdom anyway. I'm going to take that deal. You see how that's nonsense when people try to deny hell exists and what type of crazy hoops they have to jump through because they don't want to accept the obvious. Hell is real. Oh, true sword. People have been there, they know. Believe they know. They got a message for you. They don't want to go there. Ever. 27th chapter, if you will, Delta Lloyd. Got that message. That's the message from the Lord.
27:1.
Let's read it.
Many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn his eyes away. As a nail sticketh fast between two stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown. As when one sifteth with a sieve, and the refuse remaineth, so the filth of man in his talk. The furnace proveth the potter's vessel.
What proved the potter's vessel? The furnace. Now the Most High is giving you wisdom here. You can't make the potter's vessel unless there's fire. The furnace proveth the potter's vessel. Read.
So the trial of man is in his reasoning.
The trial of man is in his reasoning. Read.
The three have been dressed. So is the utterance of the conceit in the heart of man. Praise no man before thou hearest him speak.
Praise no man until they open their mouths. Let them talk long enough and you'll know what they're really about. They'll never say what it's about initially, but let them talk enough and you'll be like, well, okay, I see what we're dealing with here. This person is dumb, gum, crazy. Okay, read.
For this is the trial of men.
This is the trial of men. Let's talk about the vengeance of the Most High. We're staying with some wisdom here. Let's go to Sirach 28 and let's read 1.
1. He that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord, and he will surely keep his sins in remembrance.
The people who seek vengeance will seek what? Will find vengeance from the Lord. That means people trying to get their own justice. I'm like, I believe in the Most High. People do anything against me, say anything against me, and this is what I'm saying with y'all, folks. Don't try to retaliate. Leave space for the Most High to put his foot in it. If you try to retaliate and justify yourself, then you're telling the Most High you don't need his help in it. See how that works? See how that works? Vengeance is the Lord's. If you know you're right and the people that are going against you are evil and wrong, you don't have to say anything because you know the Most High knows it. You sit back and watch the Most High work. And in time, the Most High going to show forth his vengeance against those who have done evil. See how it works? That's how it works. He that revengeth shall find vengeance from the Lord. That means I'm going to do this to a person. I'm going to do that to a person. That person is in trouble. That's right. So, in the spirit of this class, we are going to cut it right here. Thank y'all for listening. Christ is in the building. Always stick to the word and understand the truth. Let it make us